to your fantasy guidelin known as visual recreation, the essential video guide to winning FML each and every week. I'm your local rodent who can run really fast and is a different color than normal hedgehogs. True.
And I'm Joey, your strategy guy, and this weekend we have 4 new movies vying for your love and money, so we gotta go fast.
Sega! And you don't have to blow on the cartridge for this live action version of Sonic where he's on Earth, running around, grabbing rings, and Dr. Robotnik is trying to capture Sonic, harness his energy for world domination. What more could you ask for on Valentine's weekend? Well, this movie also stars James Marsden, Ben Schwartz, and Jim Carrey, just to name a few.
Yes, now Pro Box Office has the long-range forecast for Sonic at $36 million. However, that's a 6% increase. You thought I was going to say a decrease, but an increase from last weekend. And this movie is rated PG. It's 100 minutes long, and thenumbers.com has it premiering in over 4,000 theaters.
Wow. Now, when looking at comps, we decided to look into Lego, the Batman movie, which premiered in February of 2017 to around $53 million in over 4,000 theaters. Now, be wary of that one because Batman has been much more relevant and popular than Sonic in the very recent years, and Lego Batman was coming off of the Lego movie success. So I would say that that just proves that 36 million could be in the realm of possibilities, and you never know.
Gotcha. Now, the next movie that we're talking about isn't your mother's Fantasy Island, but Fantasy Island has a Blumhouse horror twist to it, where its guest fantasies are made real into real nightmares. Fantasy Island stars Lucy Hale, Maggie Q, and Michael Pena. And it was written and directed by Jeff Wadlow, who also wrote and directed Blumhouse's Truth or Dare.
I think I'll take Truth.
Okay.
But Pro Box Office has its long-range forecast at $14 million, which is actually a 10% decrease from last week's report, which means it's not trending in the right direction. It's rated PG-13. It's 110 minutes long, and the numbers have it coming out in an estimated 2,700 theaters.
Yes, now when looking at comps, we looked at Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, which premiered April of 2018 with $18 million in over 3,000 theaters. Now, that movie was PG-13. Blumhouse had Jeff Wadlow, Lucy Hale as the lead, so
very, very similar.
Very similar.
But now let's move on to Look at This Photograph! Or the movie Photograph, which is all about a movie about a daughter of a famed photographer where the famed photographer actually dies unexpectedly, leaving a lot of pain and questions in the wake of her death. The daughter finds a picture or a photograph in a safe deposit box, decides to go on a journey to figure out who her mother really is and how she was inspired and everything, and come to find out, that leads her into a very passionate romance with a rising star journalist. Now, this movie stars Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield, and this was written and directed by Stella Meggy, who also directed Everything, and no,
Everything?
Not everything, and not everything of everything, but just the movie,
Everything.
everything.
Gotcha. Okay, well, Pro Box Office has a long-range forecast of this movie at $13 million, which stayed the same as last week's report. Now, this movie is 106 minutes, it's rated PG-13, and the numbers has it premiering in an estimated 2,500 theaters.
Now, when looking at comps, we looked at Stella's Romance of Everything, which premiered in May of 2017, and it got $11.7 million in 2,800 theaters.
All right. Now, it's going downhill.
Yes, I will agree.
Well, the next movie is
down. Oh, okay.
The next movie is down. Yeah. Well, a married couple is focused to reevaluate their lives and their relationship in the aftermath of a near-death experience while on a family vacation in the Alps. It seems like nothing good happens in the Alps. Now, Downhill stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Will Ferrell, and Zach Woods. And this movie is inspired by the motion picture Force Majeure by Ruben Östlund, which means it's pretty much the same exact movie, just made with new actors and
And for America.
Yeah, it's not a foreign film anymore.
Yeah, it's not a foreign film anymore. And yeah, go watch those 2 trailers. They're very, very similar. Except one has Will Ferrell and one doesn't. There's no long-range forecast on Pro Box Office, which could be a weird thing. This movie is 85 minutes long. It's rated R, and it's coming out in an estimated 1,500 theaters according to thenumbers.com. And we don't really have a comp for this one. So let's just take all the information we just threw at you and then throw some more information at you and try to assess it on the movie radar or the motor.
All right, so I'm going to start things off with Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog, whose character got a drastic change due to the backlash the studio received from people online.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the original trailer, when they threw that out, that was not the Sonic everyone loved. And then they changed it. We got the new Sonic, which looks great. I think it looks like what Sonic should look like. I don't know. I bring that up because I think that, yes, the movie had some anticipation behind it, and yes, the studio changed everything, and so it hyped people up, but I think that the long period in between, I don't know, I think it's going to dampen it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you in the fact that I think this was one of the most talked about movies of last year, and it's coming out this year, but it was being talked about for the wrong reasons because the Sonic looked really terrible. It was supposed to actually come out late last year, and they switched places with Playing with Fire, I heard. So now that the movie looks good, it's almost like, are people actually going to go see it, or are they going to ironically go see it, or do they actually really, really want to go see it?
Right.
And I'm kind of in the thing of, like, I feel as though this could be around $30 to $36 million, but not really go up from here just because it doesn't have that, like, crazy factor to it anymore. Like, people are just going to go see it it's the biggest release kind of thing. So, I don't know. And also, Jim Carrey's mustache after he turns into full Robotnik is my nightmares. It's not my fantasy. Like the Fantasy Island.
Segue.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like, so they took a name from a 1970s show.
Yeah.
And then made their own thing with it, which I can totally understand. It definitely has a lot of Truth or Dare vibes. I've seen a ton of trailers for it. It looks freaky. It is PG-13, but horror hasn't been doing a whole lot this year, and coming out with so much competition, and then Blumhouse has another movie coming out in 2 weeks called The Invisible Man, which is projected to do much better than this movie. I don't know, this could be a dumping ground, but, I mean, Truth or Dare looked not as exciting, and that got $18 million. I don't think there was a ton of other stuff happening, and also it was April. So, I think this one could do maybe around its 14 mil, but I don't know. I think mid-teens, but not really to the higher teens, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll put it mid to low teens. There's not really much that it's competing with this weekend. So it does have a little bit of an open door. Fantasy Island is going mid to low teens.
That's right.
But Photograph, what do you think of Photograph?
Take a look at this photograph!
What is that photograph?
This one actually is the one that I'm actually more intrigued about this week, just because it fits the Valentine's weekend more. I think it hits on a few things. Like, when you think of Valentine's Day, this is the movie, because I've seen a ton of trailers for it, a ton of advertisements, and I'm just like, that seems like the movie that should be hit on. Like, this is the movie that seems like it'll be the one that projects over. When I saw it had $13 million in its long-range forecast, I was shocked. I thought this was at least going to make 20.
Yeah.
I think it still could make 20. I think it is that Valentine's Day movie that people want to see. I think it does have a weird synopsis a little bit, like it goes in a roundabout way. But I think this one could definitely hit over its long-range forecast and possibly get higher teens. Maybe to the 20s. I don't know. We have to see how it's priced in FML and how the projections go.
Yeah, I mean, with it being estimated 2,500 theaters, theater counts is something to look at. You got Sonic, who's taken up a majority of theaters with 4,000. You also have Harley Quinn, that's taken up a lot of theaters as well. And there's other bigger movies out there, too. So, I mean, can Photograph push the 20. I think it can.
That's true.
I think it can get close, but I don't think it's going to make 20. Just based on the theater counts. It does have the weekend going for it with Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So
You've convinced me. It's gonna get only 2,000 theaters, and it's gonna get only like 13 mil to 12. So why don't you just talk first?
sorry. I mean, it's downhill.
Yes, it's all going downhill.
The movie.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This video is going downhill. For downhill,
Yeah.
what do you think about it? What's your opening thoughts on it?
I don't know. Opening thoughts. I mean, it's going to be definitely on the low end with only 1,500 theaters.
Yeah.
Not knowing any forecast for the movie, based on pricing. If your anchor movies aren't priced super high, then maybe this can find like the last few spots in your Cineplex.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think that we're probably going to be looking at the other movies like Sonic, Harley Quinn, and Photograph. They're probably going to make it in there. So I don't think downhill is going to play much of a factor.
Yeah, and I don't know what to make to this because I've seen the trailers here and there on TV. I just had no idea it was coming out this weekend. I think this one could be a little bit of like a sneaky one where it's more drama than say comedy, even though it has two very prominent stars and also more people that are in the comedy scene.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like with the 1,500 theaters, like you said, I mean, there's still Harley Quinn who's probably going to hold really strong to her theaters. Sonic's coming in with 4,000 or close to 4,000, and then you have Blumhouse, which projected 27, and maybe Photograph pushing 25. I mean, there's going to be a lot of TC cuts, and then what's downhill going to get with all the other movies that are still in? I mean, could it get 15, or is it going to be more of the 12 or the 11, which then it could be in the realm of like 7 or 8 million, maybe, possibly, or because there's no long-range forecast, what's the pricing going to look like? Is it going to be drastically cut because, hey, it has a Will Ferrell name on it, and Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2 did really fantastic? Like, not saying that movie's this, but I mean, you want to be like more cautious probably on the pricing. So maybe they price it of the just in case pricing, and it's in the 110 or whatever. If it's around that pricing, then it's probably not going to be a good one for you.
Yeah, I mean, if we're throwing our own estimates out there, I'm gonna put it in the single digits for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's pushing double digits.
Same
Not
here.
this weekend.
Yeah, true. There's a lot to think about after having weeks of 1 to 2 movies. Now it's like 4 movies in our lap. Valentine's Day, and it's just a lot to think about.
Absolutely. Well, help us think about that. Leave us a comment in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting the channel. And remember, sometimes you gotta risk it to get that biscuit.